What's up, y'all? This is Lance, Team Mamba, team leader of the Abakuas, also co-founder of BH Capital Enterprises, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel once again, um, and welcome for the first time if this is your first time viewing one of my videos. But I wanted to talk briefly about the Abakuas and the Abakuas culture from my point of view. Um, and this is especially for my team members and really for anyone coming into the Abakuas. I just wanted to shed a little insight and give a little bit of advice here on navigating the group. Or the system, or whatever you want to consider it. Um, so, if you don't know, a man by the name of James Tompkins founded the Abakuas Group. Um, but something that, he and I discussed years ago was the fact that I would always rep the Abakuas regardless of his and our relationship. Not, and just to say there's nothing going on with our relationship. We're good. But just something that I told him, years ago, and that's because I bought into this system that he founded. Um, and from jump, I knew not to associate him necessarily with the Abakuas. So I don't always, in my mind, I don't automatically think James Tompkins when I think Abakuas. I think of many other things, him included, but I think of many other things as well. So basically, I'm able to decouple him from the system in which he founded. And the advice that I would give is when you're coming into the group, try not to get caught up in any one personality, not even my personality, because people are human, and humans will always be who they want to be, and this is just speaking in general, of course. This isn't, anything about James or anything like that. But just understand that there are many different people in the Abakuas. And if you were to have a not so great experience with someone who claims to be a Bacchus, try your best not to associate that person with the Abacus. You know what I'm saying? The Abacus is its own entity, really. Um, and this entity doesn't have human-like characteristics. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be what it's going to be at all times. And that's something that you can always count on. So don't get caught up in any one personality, because people are people and people will always be who they want to be. Um, like I said, separate the man from the system. Separate James from the Abakus. I will say you will not always agree with everything that James says, and every single opinion that he has. You'll disagree with some things, but you have to learn to not let that impact your experience or your thoughts of the Abakus. In fact, James puts out on his personal page, he does some Jedi mind trick type things where he puts out certain things to see who's going to be distracted by what he puts out. Um, and so he'll put out some random post that really isn't super duper important. And it may not even be super duper important to him. But he just kind of uses it as a gauge of some sort. Um, and what I do is I use it for research purposes. So those posts that James puts out, most of them I don't participate in. You won't see me in the discussion threads or anything like that. Sometimes you may see me like or love or something like that. But for the most part, I just read them. And what you'll find is people tend to expose themselves for who they really are when he puts out certain types of posts. So for me, it allows me to take notes on who I am not to associate myself with, excuse me. So if I see, somebody say something outrageous, that I feel is outrageous on one of James's posts, and it's not necessarily something that I'm like, well, I disagree with this person's opinion, so I'm not gonna mess with them. It's nothing like that. It can be something like something really that I would consider really, really hateful. For no reason. Somebody could say something that I may or may not take offense to. I never address them, in on any type of forum. I just make notes and I say, okay, this person here will get none of my time, none of my energy. Um, Basically, they will get nothing from me, and that's it. That's how I use his posts to my benefit. Um, Buy into the system, not the people. The Abakuas was founded for the purpose of elevating the uh, economic condition of Black people worldwide. I'm totally into that. You know what I'm saying? Everything else outside of that to me is just a distraction, really. So I focus on elevating myself and my family economically, so that we can be elevated in other areas of our lives as well, to get whatever my goals are, which is time, freedom, and beyond. And I also focus on teaching other Black people who want the same. They want to elevate their economic condition, so they get a lot of my time. Um, a little more about the Abakuas culture. All about integrity when it comes to that. So when it comes to my teachings of other Black people, I don't do things that are illegal. So I don't take other people's money and invest it for them. That's illegal. I don't have a Series 7 or any type of license that would give me permission, legal permission to do such a thing. So I don't do that. Um, we know integrity is uh, doing the right thing even when no one is looking. Um, I've heard that many, many, many times in my adult life. So in regards to that, there are certain things that the Abakuas system has put in place to ensure that its members are protected as much as possible. So we're not breaking the law. That's for our protection. That's for other people's protection. We're not going to do that. Um, Also, we're not going to teach people advanced level stuff when they haven't studied the basics, right? So when people come to me and they're asking about options, my first question to them, especially if they're not on my team, because when it comes to my team members, I know exactly where they are, as far as their knowledge level. I know who's trading options. I know who's done their circle of 20, yada, yada, yada. So when someone comes to me and they're outside of my team, which means I probably most likely don't know that they are, know where they are in their knowledge. That's the first question that I ask. Well, how are you doing with the core knowledge? Have you taken all 5 phases? Are you complete with your circle of 20? Where are you? Right? So if you're one of those that's like, oh, well, what's the circle of 20? Or, oh, I'm only on phase. No. If you're on phase 1 through 5, you should not be worried about options trading. So you're not going to get that from me. And that's integrity for me. That's the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do for me to take your money because I want your money, or I'm some sort of money hungry type of person. I'm not going to take your money for the sake of having your money and try to teach you something that you're not really ready for. For me, it's about relationships, really, and it's about me being devoted to my integrity. And people may not like my response when it comes to that, but I'm pretty sure they respect my stance on it. Now, I can't say the same for everybody in the Abakuas. Um, I'm sure there are people that are probably teaching options to people who haven't taken all 5 phases, but that person isn't me because I am hopelessly devoted to my integrity, like I said before. So do the right thing. Don't get yourself caught up in a situation where James hears through the grapevine that you're just not doing the right thing. Right? So, family. The Abakuas is all about family. It's, in fact, one of the pillars of the Abakuas is learning the knowledge and teaching it to your family. Teach it to your children so that your children can teach their children. And then you can just create this knowledge base of generational wealth, and whatever you built, the next generations that follow you will not squander what you started. So that's very, very, very important when it comes to the Abakuas culture. Um, what else can I say about the Abakuas culture? Um, just be a stand-up person, really. We don't come into the group with your religious beliefs. Don't come into the group with your uh, uh, any kind of beliefs, really. Just love black people, love yourself as a black person, and just focus on that. Um, we're not gonna get into debates about Jesus and Allah, and it's just not gonna go down like that. Politics, we're not gonna get into debates about the emotionalism of politics. The only thing that we debate on when it comes to politics is how can we capitalize off of this information and become better because of it. That's it. You know, I I'm not, who cares if you hate Trump or if you love Trump? What matters most is can you seize the opportunity that is Donald Trump or any other politician that's in office. So, um, no religious debates, no political debates when it comes to right and wrong, and none of that. It's okay, how can I make some money off of what the news that just dropped? Let me go and scour the market for opportunities. Um, but yeah, like I said, it's a Bacchus culture at its essence is very simple. At least for me, it's very simple because I don't tie that into any one individual. Um, and it's not. I'm not in it to make friends with everybody. I've connected with some wonderful people in the group that I consider close friends, and then some. It is what it is. I'm not as connected to them, and that's totally fine because I'm all about looking out for my family and looking out for those that I care about. And also looking out for those that care to look out for themselves. And would like a bit of help on that. So, um, just if you take nothing else from this talk, buy into the system. don't get distracted by all the extra stuff that's going on, really. Um, just buy into the system and focus on whatever it is your goal is for joining the Abakuas. If it's, oh, I just want to generate some extra money, or oh, I want to switch my 401k over so that I can better manage, so I can manage my 401k and be sure that I'm really ready to retire when it's time to retire, because I do understand that not everybody is in a situation where they're like, I hate my job and I want to leave my job and be free. You know, some people really do love their jobs and they just wouldn't mind having a little extra money on the side to do whatever, to build a portfolio, to diversify, whatever the case may be. Um, but yeah, buy into the system, man. That's what I would say. The one of the top pieces of advice that I can offer is to buy into the system. Don't get distracted by uh, the goings on outside of whatever your goal is. So be laser focused on learning the knowledge and monetizing the knowledge if you wish to, or just disappear and get your money on the low. It's all good either way. But that's all I got. I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to, start rambling about things. But I may do another, talk about this from a different perspective, perhaps. But thanks for listening. If you have any questions, hit me up. Let me know. Again, I am a team leader in the Abakuas Group. Team Mamba is my team. Um, you can catch me on social media. Hit me in my inbox. I'm very responsive. Love talking about the markets. Love talking about economic freedom for Black people. And that's it. Have a good night.